welcome to today's episode of Manifestation Circle. I am Denise Harris.
I'm Deshonda Coleman.
And I'm Brittany Wynn.
And what we'll be discussing today is being married to an entrepreneur or dating an entrepreneur and what to expect. Good afternoon. We are entrepreneurs, so we have to balance when we can get together.
Right.
But as we have our conversations, we talked about the importance of knowing what to expect when you are dating or married to an entrepreneur. So as we talk about this, I know that we have so many people that are interested in starting their businesses. We also have people that how do you keep a strong relationship? What do you do? I always admire Brittany. She and her husband work really, really well together. I have had some experiences of, if you have someone that's working a 9 to 5, not technically a 9 to 5, but a regular job, when you are working for yourself, sometimes you put in more hours initially, and the person that you're dating or that you're married to, sometimes that can cause a problem in the relationship. So I have a lot to say on that, but I want you guys to kind of share what are your thoughts and experiences in working with other people that are married and have their own businesses.
It's so much to be said.
Yeah.
It's like, where do we start? But I think the number one, one of the key points would be balance.
Oh, yeah.
Balancing that, because like you said, the hours, I found myself at one point working 80 hours a week. Mm-hmm. At some point we have to balance something out, because my husband, he works in a plant, so he's working shift work 12 hours, and on a long week he works 60 hours a week. So we have the children, we have the house, and having a team, just that team effort and just being equally yoked. So he understands,
that's the key.
That this is it's a routine, have this routine set up, and being prepared to handle the overload of everything.
So I like what you said, being equally yoked. Moving forward, when you are in the process of dating someone, those are things that need to be talked about prior to signing your name on that dotted line. You know what I'm saying? Especially if someone has come from a family that owned their own business, they can understand, the sacrifices that you have to make sometimes to make it work. I've had my own experiences, but I've had people tell me if they invest in their business, then their spouse will say, well, you invested $2,500 in the business. Well, I need $25,000 to do what I need to do. That's not the same thing. I don't want to just.
Once again, that's where the team comes in, and we have to be careful when choosing a partner, not to go after the physical things. We have to recruit like we're recruiting for a professional team.
Right.
And, what are you bringing to the table? What are your qualities, and how can you benefit us grow as a unison? Not you doing your thing and I'm doing my thing, but you seeing what I'm doing and maybe you add to that, or I see what you do and I'm adding to that. You can have multiple things, and it's just a juggling act, because we have multiple things and multiple talents, and that's just, I feel like that's just what you get when one can find balance in a relationship.
And so for me, the balance in time wasn't a huge adjustment. Mm-hmm. So I didn't start out initially as an entrepreneur. I spent 20 years as an educator and then shifted to being an entrepreneur. Time wasn't really a factor for us because my husband's a coach. Mm-hmm. So we already were accustomed to making a sacrifice of time because he spent a lot of time coaching. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like he's still coaching. Our boys are still participating in sports. So that time wasn't a factor for us. We had some other things that we had to adjust on, but time wasn't a factor.
Well, I know with me, I don't know if it's because I'm a Capricorn, but I grew up in a family. My parents owned their own business, and I found that I had little tolerance for people that didn't understand what I had to do. You know, I was like, well, you know, I got to run a business. What's wrong with you? And I had to work on me. And that's another thing. Most of the time, we have to work on ourselves.
Correct.
Because, you know, I'm not a person to discuss a lot with the person that I'm with. I just expect you to know what I got to do, and that's it. But that's not the way you do things.
That could either build the person to be better if they want to be better.
Right.
You know, say if Mike came from a family of running, my husband came from a family of where they always had their own business, and he doesn't expect any sluggishness, no laziness,
Right.
no excuses,
Right.
no anything. So I was a bit of a procrastinator in the beginning, and that just kind of sharpened me up. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. I need to get this together. I need to get on this. And you know, I didn't take that as an insult, but it actually made me a little bit better. So, going back to what you said, for a person that is receiving a recipient of that, they will see that as a good thing. It could be a positive thing.
It could
depending
be
on how you deliver it.
Yeah, you're right.
I
Right.
just throw something and say, get your
Right.
Look, at that time, my husband and I had been married almost 20 years. I had been working almost 20 years. Neither one of us came from a background of entrepreneur. Now, my father at one point was an entrepreneur, but by the time I was born and can remember, he was working at that point, so I just never really experienced that. So when I would have conversations with my mother about entrepreneurship and with my husband, at one point it's like their conversations were pretty much the same. It was like, you know, well, the 9 to 5, understanding that the checks are not coming in on the 15th and the last day of the month, you know, and so they were having those conversations with me, but in my heart I felt like I have to keep doing this. I have to keep doing this. So then that comes to a point where it's important that you have a certain relationship with your husband, but then also having that external team that's able to push and help you. And that's where you all came in place. Like I was looking at you all, how you were pushing in your businesses and having the conversations with my team. So understand how to have that support, but not allow that support to cause any interference in my marriage.
Right.
So we got to one point, I had been out of work for about 4 to 5 months, and so we're getting ready to go back into the start of a school year. And it was a struggle, just me personally, not just as a, you know, my husband not supporting me, but I was struggling because I had to get accustomed to not going to a 9 to 5. So we got to a point, and he looked at me. He was like, "So what are you going to do? What are you going to do?" And I just looked at him and I said, "I can't go back." I knew that I could not turn and I couldn't go back. And so that's when I realized at that point I couldn't, if I was going to keep doing this and be able to support my family, I had to get out of that bed and I had to start working hard and dedicating that time and finding the balance. And so at that point I started shifting and started working harder. And now it's been 2.5 years. I will tell you, my husband has now tapped into being an entrepreneur himself.
Right.
And he's exceeding me. He's basically doing 2 different things, and he's out working now. He got up this morning, he went out and did some things, and then he's going back this evening. So
In your case, it created a healthy competition, you know.
Yes.
competitiveness,
Yes.
But in a healthy way.
Yeah.
You know.
Sometimes it can turn ugly because it can turn into a competition. We do not want someone reaching their goals of becoming an entrepreneur and there's a competition here. Oh, you're making more money than me now, and now I don't like you.
Well, then that's what insecurities get
Right.
into that.
Right. And then, you know, you mentioned something earlier. If that's something that you know that you want, make certain you seek out that partner that wants to work with you on the same thing. It's like my mom and dad, they operated a dairy farm together until they retired. So Brittany brought up a good point as well, choosing that partner, that is major. Because I can get away from anybody else that I want to get away from. But if you're going home to a negative partner or someone that does not believe in what you're doing, it can stop your creativity. And as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to imagine your business and be creative. And if you're thinking about, the horrible relationship that you have, you can't be creative.
Correct.
So, that's just something, I know a lot of people are dealing with that. We have people that are, some women that may be doctors or any other type of profession, even hairstylists. Sometimes the person that you have at home can cause you a lot of hell.
And that becomes toxic.
It becomes toxic, and it stops you from doing what you want to do to be productive and successful. And we should want to leave something back for our kids.
Yeah.
We talked about that this morning.
Yeah, we did.
So,
Yeah, because I mean, at the state of where we are now, we have a son that's in college and one that's in 10th grade, and I help them tap into what their gifts and talents are. We don't chase money now.
Right.
We know that comes.
Right.
That's going to come.
I like that.
You do what you enjoy doing, and you take that major and turn it into your own business.
Right.
And that's where we're going. You want to be an attorney? Fine. Go to law school, but then let's look and see what it takes for you to have your own practice.
Or what's your niche in being an attorney? You may have like a specific something that's in there that you're really, really passionate about.
Yes.
So let that focus in on
Tap into that.
right. Or, allow our kids to be creative and imagine. We stop, we don't encourage imagination. What is it that you want to do? What do you feel like you want to do? And I think that's where we are in our lives. We have to see it and feel it. But also with we go back to being an entrepreneur. Even if you are a truck driver, it does not matter. You need to be the best darn truck driver you can be. And if you're driving long distance, you own your own rig, maybe we're going to ride together. So one has to support the other in what they're doing.
I like what you said, finding something and being the best at it. And I just had this talk earlier with somebody this morning. Like, if I was a janitor, I'm going to be the best. Janitor that I could be, because you just never know where you're going to end up after that. But I feel like, too, going back to the topic, black women, as a black entrepreneur, a woman, you're a double minority. So not only do you have your spouse that could be pouring in negativity, but just the weight of the world that you have to carry, and just having those, ideas poured upon yourself, and then how can you create something when everybody else is
It's pulling on you.
Yeah, pulling on you, taking shots at you.
Right.
It's really hard. So that's why your spouse, he's up here. He's the head of the house.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to be able to see your full potential.
Right.
And see you as successful. And if he can't see you as those things, it's even harder for you to see it for yourself. And then the kids are watching, and then that makes it even harder.
Yeah.
Because they already, your spouse may have told you, well, how you gonna do this, and how you gonna do this. So the idea of failing has already been implanted within you. And then the children are watching. You don't want to fail them, so you just feel all this huge burden on you. And that's, at some point, I was in that boat of not wanting to fail my children, seeing me start something. But I'm also that person. If I start something, I have to finish it. And just having that own the self motivation and determination, and just being ambitious. And sometimes that can be very frightening for a male. Especially an alpha male, that ambition. If you are very self-driven and motivated and very disciplined, that can be
Right. And understand it's not a competition.
Right.
And I can tell you how, from my standpoint, I feel that I am a very, very strong woman. But every once in a while, I need my mate to just grab me, hold me, and say, you know what, it's gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see that you're strong. I know you got this, but we want that person just to hold us and let us know, hey, you know, I got your back.
Yeah.
You know, I see what you're doing. You know, so being that entrepreneur and growing, my daughter Cassidy shared something with me this morning. She's like, Mom, you know, she's starting to feel it, you know,
That's
and
exciting.
she's an artist. She's gifted in talented art. You know, she changed her mind from, I forget what it was. She said, she wanted to be a chef. So now she wants to be an architect. I'm like, you can do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy.
Yes.
And she goes, are there any architects that I can shadow? I said, I'm sure I can find one for you.
Oh, we know.
We know one.
We the same.
Yeah, so that's what we have to do. We have to give up some of our time
Yeah.
to allow our kids to shadow someone.
Yeah.
You know, my son Ryan, he shadowed my ex-husband, and that was his. He did that as in his last year of high school of his mentor. He went to UPS. He followed him around, and then he said, you know, I want to work at UPS. And that was what, 10, 12 years ago? Something like that, about 12 years ago. So we have to, you know, give our kids the direction, allow them to go the direction that they want to go.
Right.
My daughter Leah is a nurse. So you choose what you want to do. And when she was 12, my baby Cassidy is an in vitro baby, and Leah gave me my shots at age 12. And she's now a nurse. So I don't know if I was crazy to trust her to give me my shots, or did I just really believe in what she was doing?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the key too.
That's exciting.
We have to believe in our kids.
One thing I want to share is I think it's important. Well, first of all, you have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. You have to love yourself, and you have to be comfortable with who you are. But you also have to know and be comfortable and accepting of who your spouse is.
Oh, that's true.
Because I realized, like, my husband is not that person. Like, if I'm waiting on him to come and just grab and hug me and do all, I will be
Wait.
Yes, but when I finally realized, and so when I got to the point where I stopped trying to make him be who I wanted him to be, I accepted him for who he was.
Now
And
that's powerful.
And I started paying attention and recognizing that his way of showing me that he supported and loved me was different than what I wanted. And so once I started realizing that and accepting that, then I started feeling like I was being embraced physically by him embracing me
I
with
like
the way
that.
he has
It's your
supported
love
me.
language.
Yeah.
What is your love
Yeah.
language?
And it's nonverbal.
Right.
And that's how he is, nonverbal. But I do realize at the end of the day, he's going to grind out and he's going to do everything he can to support his family.
I
Because he
love
loves
that.
us that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's it. And so once I was able to just realize that, then I realized, wait, we are equally yoked in our own way. You know, we have to realize that. I think the unequally yoked piece would be if somebody was just like, he's not verbally abusing me, he's not physically abusing me. So just because he's not going to hug me and kiss me, that doesn't mean he doesn't love me. So once I was able to see that, I'm like, okay, yes.
But that's
now
your
I'm
connection that you
That's-
have
yes.
that only you and him can understand.
correct.
You know, you tell it to somebody else, they're like, well, that ain't gonna work.
Right.
You know,
That would
Right.
be me. You don't hug me, you don't kiss me, don't talk to me. But you gotta understand
Yeah.
that language. You're absolutely correct, and that's beautiful. And talking with you guys has helped me. You know, maybe I'm not the
You
most.
remember the movie Ghost?
Yes,
She would never say I love you back. She just said ditto. You know?
ditto.
And
Right,
Finally, he said it.
Right.
It's just something
Right.
that was understood. It didn't have to be explained. You know.
right. Was understood. Don't have to be explained. I like that. I like that. So-
And I have with our two boys, it's so funny. I was having a conversation with the older one a couple of days ago, and he would share little things with me from his experience with meeting young ladies. And, you know, there was one that I think he said something about, she was like, you don't even hug my neck or whatever. He was like, it's not me. I was like, you are definitely your father's child.
But, just helping people focus, and I know the awareness is here. I want to own my own business.
Yes.
I don't want to be capped as to what I'm getting paid. Or, I want to, control, the things that are going on in my life. Maybe I want to employ one of my children.
Right.
Growing a family business, or branding your business, whatever it is, it's very important to, understand being an entrepreneur, what it entails.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. Because in my case, my children are my clients, so they are my students, and so I'm able to use their testimonies when I'm talking to other parents, because now they're not looking at me as just an educator who's out to get business. Wait, she's a parent. She's been in the trenches. She understands she's gone through the similar things, with the struggles, and have come out on the other side with by supporting her own children, and so that's been powerful too. Yeah.
But I need you guys, and to anyone that's in business, get you someone
Yes.
or team. I don't care if it's 3, I don't care if it's 1, but just make certain that you have somebody on your team that when you feel like you're in a low spot, or if you feel that you're all alone,
Yeah.
those people on your team can help pull you out of whatever
Yeah.
slump that you're going through. And we all go through it.
We do.
But as long as we have someone to help motivate us to get us back on top, I used to tell my ex-husband all the time. I would say, "Look, if I got you by my side, I can handle the world." That's what we have to do. We have to also make certain who you're teaming up with 24/7,
Yeah.
and having the right person on your side as well.
Yeah, you don't need to antagonize, like somebody that's going to antagonize.
Right, or throw doubt
Yeah.
at you. Right. You gotta get it. But I do know we get along better now that we are divorced. But and it's okay. You have to allow people to be free, and don't lose who you are.
Yeah.
And I feel that we can relate to a lot of entrepreneurs. If someone has gone through a divorce, as I have, look, pop your collar, get back in there. You have to take care of yourself, and team up with people that can push you along the way. So we want to bring a mixture for everyone. Someone that worked a job for 20 years became an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is all I've ever known, and when I did go work for someone, I had to ride out because it just wasn't for me. But also going through a relationship where there was a struggle. You have to get to the point where you can communicate. We didn't fight, we just didn't talk to each other. And both of us were very, very stubborn. Like, okay, I can take care of myself, and you can take care of yourself. Well, I see you. And to be in a great relationship, you have to be able to talk through different challenges with the person that you're with.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah.
And when you are partnered with or have your friends that are gonna, my words are like crazy, but you have to have an open mindset.
Yes,
too.
you do.
You have to have an open mindset and a discerning spirit to know that, whatever feedback that you're getting from them, that verbal or none, that take it and reflect on it.
Right.
And see, what can I do this to make it work out for my good and work out positively? Because we've had some conversations. It's just amazing how less than a month, things have made a tremendous shift in my life.
Right.
Where I think prior to that, I've had such a closed mindset where when I would share those things, I'm like, I didn't want to hear that. That just didn't sound right for me. So, it's not me. It's him, And then just the shift of our mindset, we're not going to talk about what's not working in a negative way. We're going to see what we can do mentally to shift that, so that we can start attracting those things.
Right.
that we need
Right.
to have a positive outcome.
I like what you said, attracting those things.
Yeah.
My marketing guy mentioned to me today, he goes, you know, a lot of realtors are going through difficulties with people maybe losing their jobs with this or closings with this. And I shared with him, I don't see it. When I say I don't see it, I only see the good, so therefore that's all I attract, that's all I see.
Right.
And as you were talking, I thought about something. Going through a divorce and all of that, I had to re-examine myself. I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, okay, what are you doing wrong? Stop writing my personality. I will write you off. And that's not good. You know, you have to, you know, you can't just write somebody off. You also have to, you know, figure out what are you doing wrong. It's not all about somebody else or what they're doing. What are you doing? And I can be stubborn. And, you know, to be successful, you can't always just think things, this is the way it is, and I'm just, you know, that's the way I have to do it. You have to have some balance, and you have to take feedback. And Brittany and DeShonda has given me some good constructive criticism and some good feedback.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I see it. I'm like, thank y'all. I didn't see it that way. You know?
No, I get it. I think, I can't remember the details of our text, but I can remember sharing with you that in the past, I used to be a runner.
Right, you did.
Yeah. So I never would embrace anything that I felt was going to hurt me.
And see, that's what gave us the balance. Because I'll run straight through a wall, you know, and I'll think about, how did I get through that wall after I've gotten through the wall? Or I'll jump off the building and then realize, you know what? I could have broken my feet or my leg, but, and then I'm looking around, well, I didn't.
Yes.
So, you know, we just really, we're a good balance. You know, Brittany is deep.
You're the runner, you're the jumper, and I'm just the shifter. Like, let's just shift this whole thing, and before you know it, we're talking about going out for dinner.
So,
Like, look, okay, send us something on that.
right, no, yeah, Brittany will go through and she will analyze it.
Psychoanalyze.
And she would outline it. I'm like, you know what? I didn't really look at it like that, Brittany. But it helps us as a team. And I feel that we're a team. And we're going to be working on some things to share. But as entrepreneurs, you know, get the right people on your team.
I'm laughing because I just thought about this. So we're at a party, right? So, you know, I'm here, my violin is playing, and I'm in my pity party, and Brittany's the one that's like, change that song.
That's not it.
That's not it. No, that's not it. So we take out our time to get together, to share some of the conversations that we're having. And if we can uplift someone else, help somebody with, if you haven't gotten that spouse yet, you know, start thinking about it. What being an entrepreneur is not easy at all.
Not at all.
You have to have someone on your team, and are they willing to join your team?
Right.
You know,
Right.
Everybody
Right.
wants to win a race, right? But sometimes I have to hand it off to you and let you run, and then, you know, we're going to go across that finish line. Sometimes we have to work together to get where we need to be. We're working together. We're not working separately.
Yeah.
And just know it's pedigrees. It's pedigrees to business. It's pedigrees to relationships. And not everybody is built to be a racehorse. Not everybody is
Right.
built to be, you know, in that relationship with you, how you want them to be involved with you. Not everybody can see your vision.
Yeah.
But you have to link up with somebody who can or is optimistic enough to see your vision and to say, you know what, that's crazy enough to, it might just work, you know?
Yeah.
So, and invest in you.
I like that.
Kind of give some advice on how do you.
You know, the gentleman that I'm dating now, he pays attention to me. So you know, that saying that we always talk about, the salesperson saying it may or may not be true, but if the customer says it must be true. So he goes back and he tells me things that I've said. So I can't argue with myself, right? So having someone to really pay attention to you and, you know, believe in you, see your strength, and want to work with you. To me, I think that's the most, that's the sexiest thing in the world, is to have someone that wants to work with me.
You're not asking for them to submit to you
No.
by any means, but also too, I don't want for my ambition and my knowledge, and I don't want that to scare you away from me either.
That's the
you know,
thing.
because I feel like a lot of men, they may feel like the more successful a woman is, the more likely, the quicker she may become dissatisfied with me. And then that all these little insecurities start to creep in.
Yeah.
And now he's hating what you do or what you've built because of that. You know, now you're this doctor that you always wanted to be.
Yeah.
And he's still at this point, not that I can't reach down and pull you up to my level, but I need for you to work with me a little bit so that I can be, you know, maybe establish my own practice and make some other things happen first. And maybe that was his role in that relationship, to help you, to lift you up, you know, and then he can have a spot in whatever this is, or maybe
Or you know, create, that's right, create another business.
create another business, because
Right.
now we've made these mistakes together, so it's easier for us to not only mend these mistakes because we made them together, but now we know what can do to avoid them for the next go round. It's easier when you have somebody going through it with you.
Yes.
You know, you're less likely to give up on your dream.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah,
So I get-
and that's the thing, DeShonda, is having that person that pays attention to you enough to see, you know, where your weaknesses are, and then they can help, you know, fill in the blanks to make you stronger, because you're only as strong as your weakest link. So if they are helping you become stronger, and know that it's for both of you, that's a beautiful thing.
I will
When you
say-
take ownership.
Success and knowledge in itself, and y'all can look it up, it's an aphrodisiac. So either it's going to make
I take your
yourself-
word. I take your word for
It's
it.
either going to make him draw into you and pour himself into you, or either it's going to turn him against you because of his, like I said, own insecurities of somebody else, you know, pulling into you. Like, hold up, you know. Now because you, not that I'm higher than you are in a sense that was successful, but you know, just the thought of the possibility that
You are
somebody
absolutely
could be more
correct.
interested in you than I am, or could, you know, come with offering all these other benefits that I don't have.
Yeah.
You know.
So it sounds like a person being in that place, you just don't suppress who you are. Like, you need to put it out there.
You
Let
have to
them
put it
know.
out there.
Not just that, loyalty. If my
Loyalty,
loyalty
yes.
is to you, then you know that I have restraint against all these other things. I'm not going to go out there and do this.
The key thing, Brittany, and at 51, I know this is a fact that I know. Everybody wants the same thing as your spouse or your significant other wants: security. So why start that over again? You know, I don't want to be distracted. You know, I'm focused on, you know, accomplishing my goals, enjoying my life with the person that I'm with.
Right.
You know, as they say, keep the trash out your eyes. You know,
And it's easy to get distracted because the more successful you are, it's just like, you know, all these people are drawn to you like a honeybee. You know? So you just have to know who's who.
whose you are.
Who you are. But then too, at the end of the day, everybody wants to be happy, and they perceive success
As happiness.
as happiness,
Yes.
and that's not always the case.
Right.
Oh,
Success could be hard work.
very.
And if you are with someone that wants you to spend all your time with them and don't understand that you got to put in work for your business, then there's a problem too.
That's going into roles,
Right.
Relationship roles, because I can't do all these household things you know, and business things, and wifely duties, and, you know,
Taking care of the kids.
all of that. Like, I can't do it all.
Right.
At some point, I need to go to say, I need some help.
Right, can you help me?
Can you help me?
So I'm so glad you said that. So, you know, that's definitely a good point, because when I look back at my shift, so I can't handle all of that.
No.
Like, I can't handle all of that. And so, but my family was so used to me handling all of that. So now, you know, after 20 years of me doing, you know, the washing, the cleaning, the cooking and all of that, and then I don't have time to do it, you know, how do you make that shift? For me, I wouldn't do it because I couldn't do it, but it was still a part of me. Because in my mind, I'm thinking I still need to cook, I still need to wash clothes, I still need to do that. So I had to kind of see it and not see it.
I think they see it and not see it, but you got to go back to that person and say, look,
Yeah.
I'm doing all these things. I need your help. You know, I want to stay mentally strong for you. I want to stay mentally strong for my business. And I guess as a ending point I want to make, as an entrepreneur and you're making the money that you want to make, it still has to be an outline. Who's going to be responsible for what?
Right.
Because that can become a problem as well.
But as entrepreneurs too, we can't be afraid, because sometimes we don't want to relinquish certain duties. Like, okay, I can't feel bad because I can't do X, Y, Z. I have to let some of this stuff go and let
Or hire somebody to come in.
Hire somebody to help you.
Right.
Yeah.
Have
You
somebody
to.
come in and cut the grass. Have somebody come in and clean your house. You know, maybe have your food meal prepped or whatever.
Right.
You have to allow someone to help you. You are absolutely correct. Because if not, you're going to feel,
Overwhelmed.
yes, you are.
And you will break down.
And
Yes,
you will
you
break
will.
down. So this is to keep you from, you know, communication is the key. To keep you from breaking down.
Yeah.
And prioritizing.
Yeah.
Prioritize your life in a way so that you will, you know, you can attend events with the children, have, you know, husband and wife time, and
Yeah.
still focus on your business.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy. Like, well, how do I fit the children? Well, that's something for you to sit down and itemize your time.
You have to.
So that you can make time. Because the children, when they're small, it's just vital time. You don't
Oh,
want to
yes.
miss out too much time, and I'm guilty of that. You know, like, man, we missed a whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's my hair.
important.
I was like, what is that?
My children were older once I started, so I think it kind of helped me feel that time in, because I'm like, okay, everybody's in their room doing their own thing, so I'm able to spend more time in my business. But just to think back, before, when they were younger, I wasn't working in my own business, but I was in school, so I can remember my older son tugging on me while I'm at the computer trying to do work. So yeah, finding that balance is definitely
Well,
important and priority.
I can say when they're young, I had Cassidy on my hip showing houses. So, and I also remember with Ryan and Leah, when I was working with Bell South, they shared with me, it's like, Mom, you're difficult to talk to. Because I was stressed out, working for yourself, you can bring your kids with you, or to have that balance.
Yeah.
It is what you want.
Yeah, that's true.
So, hey, if you guys have any questions for us, send it to us. We've been in business for a while now, and we kind of worked out some of the things. We just want to be here for the team. So,
It's like we made these mistakes.
yeah, we've made some
You know.
mistakes. Yeah.
So we can kind of show you
Right.
those mistakes so we not to do.
Yeah.
How to get over.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you get to a point where you're stuck, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe let's talk about it and figure it out.
And you're not by yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Don't stop.
yeah,
Right.
that's the
Don't
key.
lose your momentum.
Just don't stop.
Yeah.
I know we shared some personal things with you guys, but you guys, I'm certain that you are experiencing that, or you will experience it. And we just want to make certain that everyone stays in business. That's like when I sell somebody a house, right?
Right.
I want you to stay in your house. So I don't want you to give it up after a year or 2 years.
Right.
So if you are wanting to start a business, we want you to stay in business. And if we can share some of the tough times and
Yeah.
mistakes that we made to keep someone else from falling into some pits that you have to pull yourself out of, that's what we want to be here for. Love you guys. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.